Good afternoon, students. Welcome to today's class. Today, I'm going to deal with a poem. The first poem of your English text. Grandma Climbs a Tree, written by Ruskin Bond. So, in this poet Ruskin Bond is going to describe about the childish behavior of his grandmother. And Ruskin Bond was a famous poet, and he born in Kasauli in 1934. Ruskin Bond now lives in Missouri. He wrote his first novel, The Room on the Roof. So, which was the first novel written by Ruskin Bond? The Room on the Roof, when he was 17 years old. And has written more than 30 books for children. So his main works on children. Grandma Climbs a Tree shows Bond's great ability to enjoy unusual events and actions. So in this poem, Ruskin Bond is going to tell us about the childish behavior of our grandma, the unusual behaviors of a grandma. In his autobiography, Scenes from a Writer's Life, so which is the autobiography of Ruskin Bond, is Scenes from a Writer's Life. Bond talks about his Kolkata granny as a strange person who sat alone in the evenings playing Patience, a card game. So in his autobiography also, he has described about his Kolkata grandmother. So now we are directly going to jump up the poem. Grandma climbs a tree. Open your text, page number 19, and observe my reading and pronunciation, and underline the difficult words. My grandmother was a genius. You would like to know why? Because she could climb trees, spreading or high. She could be up their branches in a trice. And mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. Ever since childhood, she would have this gift for being happier in a tree than in a lift. And though as years went by, she would be told that climbing trees should stop when one grew old. And that growing old should be gone about gracefully. She'll laugh and say, well, I will grow disgracefully. I can do it better. And we had to agree, for in all the garden there wasn't a tree. She hadn't been up at one time or another, having learned to climb from a loving brother when she was 6. About it was feared by all that one day she would have a terrible fall. The outcome was different. While we were in town, she climbed a tree and could not come down. After the rescue, the doctor took Granny's temperature and said, I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed. We sighed with relief and tucked her up well. Poor Granny, for her it was like a brief season in hell. Confined to her bedroom, while every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. But she had held her peace till she felt stronger. Then she sat up and said, I will lie here no longer. And she called for my father and told him undaunted that a house in a tree top was what she now wanted. My dad knew his duties. He said, that's all right. You will have what you want, dear. I will start work tonight. With my expert assistance, he soon finished the chore, made her a tree house with windows and a door. So Granny moved up, and now every day I climb to a room with glasses and tray. She sits there in state and drinks cherry with me, upholding a right to reside in a tree. So here, the poet Ruskin Bond is going to narrate about his grandmother's behaviors. Even though became old, became aged, but she didn't stop. She is not ready to stop climbing trees. That's why he called her grandma is genius. In the first paragraph, I am going to explain you. My grandmother was a genius. So here the poet Ruskin Bond called her grandma is a genius. Observe the word genius. Genius means so clever. So if there is a student in your class who is very much good at studies, he may call as genius. And you may call genius who was playing cricket in good condition. So, those who are having extremely good in studies, it may in study or it may in sports, etc. So, here the poet Ruskin Bond, he is calling our grandma as genius. My grandmother was a genius. And he also asking questions to us. You would like to know why? You would like to know why? So, why my grandmother is genius? You want to know the reason? Because she could climb trees, spreading her eye. She could be up their branches in a trice. So, poet Ruskin Bond's grandma is genius because she could climb the trees, whether it may be high or whether it may be spread. It doesn't matter. She can climb the trees in a trice. Here observe a word trice. Trice means quickly. Trice means quickly. My thumb is not in good condition, so I try to write trice. Trice means quickly. 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 So, Ruskin Bond's grandmother, she could climb trees. So, this is very unusual thing. So, if a man climb a tree means it is not that much surprised. But if a woman, an aged woman is climbing a tree means it is somewhat grandma, the poet's grandma, she could climb trees, whether it may be the high tree or whether it may be the spreading one. It doesn't matter to her. So, spreading or high, she could be there in their branches, any a trees. So, within a fraction of minutes or within a fraction of seconds, she could climb a tree and she can reach the branches of the tree. And mind you means, remember, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. So, when she climbed a tree at last time, what was the age of his grandmother? Yes, 62. So, even though she is 62 years old, she can climb the trees. When last she climbed a tree, she was 62. Ever since childhood, she would have had this gift. So, grandma is not climbing a tree for today or yesterday or a day after yesterday. Not like that. She had this gift. She was climbing a tree from her childhood itself. From her childhood itself, she was climbing. She was a habit of climbing trees. Ever since childhood, she would have this gift for being happier in a tree than in a lift. So, poet's grandmother is being happy on the top of the tree, not in the lift. She will be happy when she climbed a tree. That's what here the poet Ruskin Bond is telling us. So, the poet's grandmother is genius because she can climb the trees, spreading or high, and she would be up their branches very quickly. And she had this gift from the childhood, and she will be happy when she was on the top of the tree. In the second stanza, the poet telling us, and though as years went by, she would be told that climbing trees should stop when one grew old, and that growing old should be gone about gracefully. She had laugh and say, well, I will grow disgracefully. I can do it better, and we had to agree, for in all the garden there wasn't a tree. So in the second paragraph, second stanza, the poet is telling us, and though as years went by. So after she had becoming old, now she is in 62. So after the 60 years, one has to live gracefully, respectfully, dignifiedly. So here, and though as years went by, as years passed by, she would be told. So, the family members and who are the well-wishers of grandmother advised her, told her that climbing trees should stop. Grandma, now you are becoming old. So, it is better to stop climbing trees. This was the advice given by the well-wishers of grandmother to that lady. So, she would be told that climbing trees should stop. It is better to stop because they were feared that she may be fall down one day. Trees should stop when one grew old. When one became old, when one became old or one became the elder, one become old, one grew old, and that growing old should be gone about gracefully. So, in we have expected some behaviors from a person in a different stage of his life. So, after 15 or 16 years, we expect very proud behavior. The same way, after 60 or 65 years, we expect more respectful behaviors from the elders. So that's why the family members and our friends were telling her that don't do this. Let us stop climbing trees. This was advice given to her by his family or family members. And they are also telling us, and that growing old should be gone about gracefully. One should reach the age of 60, you should live gracefully, respectfully. You should live dignified life. Dignified life. That was they were telling to that lady. She had laughed and said. So when his family members and others advised her to stop climbing trees, she just laughed at them. She just laughed and said, well, I will grow disgracefully. Okay, you believe that climbing trees is not graceful, then I will grow disgracefully. But it means to say that she is not ready to live climbing trees. And in the next line says, I can do it better. I can do it better. Now at the age of 62 also, I can climb a tree easily without any problem. So why could I stop? This was a question asked by that lady to his family members, and we had to agree. And there is no choice for her family members, and they agree the words of Granny. For in all the garden there wasn't a tree. So there are so many trees in the garden, but there is no even a single tree which grandma could not climb or didn't climb. It means to say that all the trees that grandma has climbed one or twice. She hadn't been up at one time or another. So whether it may be one time or it may be twice, like that, she had finished all the trees. It means to say that she climbed all the trees which were there in that garden. No trees has been left. Having learned to climb from a loving brother when she was 6. So, from her childhood only, she had learned to climb trees. From whom? From her loving brother. So in our childhood also we learned so many things, just like swimming, climbing trees and other, etc. Having learned to climb from a loving brother when she was 6. So here grandma learned this habit or this, she learned climbing trees from a loving brother at the age of 6. So when she was 6 years old, she learned climbing trees by his loving brother. But it was feared by all. So all the members of that family were feared. They were very much feared because one day she will be terribly fall. But it was feared by all. Here, feared by all means the members of that family, that one day she would have a terrible fall. They are feared because one day the lady would have a terrible fall. ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಏನಾದರೂ ಈ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಮರದ ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಬಿದ್ದು ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆತಂಕ ಇತ್ತು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಟೆರಿಬಲ್ ಫಾಲ್. The outcome was different. The outcome was different. While we were in town, she climbed a tree and could not come down. The outcome was different. The result was different. So one day, the family members were gone out. They went to city. So at that time, this old lady, this grandma, climbed a tree. And she could not come down. She could not come down. This was the result when they came back from the city. After the rescue, observe the word rescue. Rescue means to protect someone from a difficulty. To protect someone in a from the problem or from the difficult situation. So after the rescue, so when grandma climbed a tree and she could not come down, the family members came back from the town and they rescued his grandma and they took her to the doctor. And the doctor took granny's temperature. So when they took her to the doctor examined her. So when we are not feeling well, we usually go to the doctor and doctor check our body's temperature. So like that only here, the doctor took granny's temperature. The doctor took granny's temperature and said. So after the rescue, the family members took grandma to the doctor and the doctor examined her and they checked her temperature and said, I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed. So now the doctor advised her, strictly recommended her, Grandma, you should take 1 week bed rest quietly. Observe the word quietly. Quietly means without doing anything. I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed. You should take 1 week rest. It is necessary to your body. You should not go out from the room. You should not climb tree. Your body needs rest. So you have to take 1 week rest. We signed with relief. Who signed with relief? As the family members. Here observe the word signed means need to siribidu. So just like that only. We signed up relief and tucked her up well. Tucked her up well means nursed her well, treated her well. So here we signed with relief and tucked her up well. Poor granny. Here poor means the granny is not poor, but we just like to say that in Kannada, Ayo Papa. Just like that only here, poor granny. For her, it was like a brief season in hell. So, when grandma was in the room for a week, it becomes hell for her. It was like a brief season in hell. So, they observe the sentence there. Poor granny, for her, it was like a brief season in hell. This is here, we can observe this was a good example for simile. For simile. So poor granny, for her it was like a brief season in hell. Hell means ನರಕ. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕೋಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲಗಿಕೊಂಡೇ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಅಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ನರಕದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಂತೆ ಭಾಸವಾಯಿತು. ಸೊ here the poet compared two things, the room and the hell. He compared the room to hell, just like that only. Poor granny, for her it was brief. It was like a brief season in hell. Brief season. Short. Brief means short. A short season. So when she was in the room on the bed, she felt like that was a hell for her. That was a hell for her. Confined to her bedroom. So, confined to her bedroom is just like a hell to that lady, while every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. So, in the outside, there was a summer season, and every breeze means it was just like a flower or leaves, whispered of summer and dancing. All the blossoms were there and leaves, they were dancing in the breeze. So she always wanted to live in the nature, within the nature. But now she was confined to bed for 1 week, according to the advice given by the doctor. So it has become hell for her. It has become hell for her. But she had held her face till she felt stronger. She controlled her patience. She had held her peace till she felt stronger. So she bared that. She held her breath till she became stronger. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಳು ತಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಶಕ್ತಿಶಾಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹುಷಾರಾಗುವವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ಲು, ತಾಳ್ಮೆಯಿಂದ ಇದ್ಲು. She held her peace till she felt stronger. Then she sat up and said. So at last, after 1 week, she sat up and said. She sat up on the bed and said, I will lie here no longer. I can't sleep here. I will lie here no longer. I can't. ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲಗಿಕೊಂಡು ಇರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಲು. And she called for my father. Now she called her son. My father means Ruskin Bond's father means he was a son to the grandma. That's why. And she called for my father and told him undaunted. So here you observe two best examples for figure of speech. One is poor granny. For her it was like a brief season in hell. It was a best example for simile. And it was simile means comparison between two things. Compare a thing to another non-objective things. But she had held her peace till she felt stronger. Then she sat up and said, I will lie here no longer. So, after becoming strong, the lady, the grandma, sat up on the bed and told and announced that she could not lie here for no longer. She could not ready to sleep here for more days. So that's why she called his son. She called his son, the poet's father, and told him undaunted. Undaunted means without any hesitation, without any shame, without any agitation, that her house in a treetop. What she now wanted? A house in a treetop. Treetop means marada mele. House in a treetop means marada melina mane. A house in a treetop was what she now wanted. So the old lady, the grandma, now she can't climb trees. So he made an idea that she want a house on the treetop. So by doing so, she can live there, because she will be happier in a tree than in the lift. That's why she called her son and ordered him to make a house on the treetop. And she called for my father and told him undaunted that a house in a treetop was what she now wanted. So now she wanted a house on the treetop. On the treetop was what she now wanted. My dad knew his duties. So here my dad means the poet's father and the son of grandmother. So he knows his duties. So one has to do their duties about our parents. It is their duty to take care of his parents, to fulfill their wish. My dad knew his duties. He said, that's all right. So the poet's father knew his duties, what has to do for his parents. So he said, that's all right. Okay, I can make a tree on the treetop. You will have what you want. So he is giving assurance to his mother. My dad knew his duties. He said, that's all right. You will have what you want. You will have what you want. Means to say that you will get what you want. I think it means to say that he is ready to make a house on the treetop. You will have what you want, dear. I will start work tonight. So, from night is today night itself, I am going to start my work. Which work? Making a house on the tree top. With my expert assistance. Here, observe the word assistance. Assistance means help. With my expert assistance, he soon finished the chore. Observe the word chore. C-H-O-R-E. C-H-O-R-E. Chore means work or task. Work or task. Assistance. Assistance means help. Assistance means help. So, his father, the poet's father, done his work with the help of his son. Who is the son? Ruskin Bond. He has done that work. He has finished that work with the help of poet. So that's why here the poet is telling us that with my expert assistance, he soon finished the chore. Chore means, I already told you, the task or the work. Made her a tree house with windows and a door. So now, grandma will get what she wants. So now, our house is ready on the tree top. With the expert assistance of poet and his father, finished the work, made a tree house with windows and a door. So, the house on the treetop was now ready with some windows and a door. You can observe or you can see the picture in page number 18. You can come to know how a house on the treetop will be. That there was a house on the treetop and a grandmother was seeing something down. So like that only, the house on the treetop was now ready. So granny moved up. So now, the bedroom was not, it was just like a help to her, so that now she moved to up. So she went to that house which was made on the tree top, moved up, and now every day I climb to our room with glasses and tray. So every day the poet now is going to his grandmother's house which was there on the tree top. I climbed to our room with glasses and tray. So every day now the poet is moving to her grandmother's house with a glasses and tray. ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಕವಿ ಈಗ ಆ ಅಜ್ಜಿಯ ಮನೆಗೆ ಟ್ರೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಗ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. She sits there instead and drinks cherry with me. So every day now the grandmother and the poet sits there and they were enjoying drinking sherry. It was just like a drinks, sherry means. Sherry with me, upholding her right to reside in a tree. Upholding her right to reside in a tree. Means to say that now she is happily living on the tree, on the tree house, in the tree house. So the inner meaning of this poem, that which I thought that this poem is explaining it, giving an idea about how the woman has improved her status, because in our ancient days women have no freedom. She had become a machine, just like a machine only. She was working in the house, so there was no freedom for her. So after that, gradually the status of woman has improved. Then she went to learn to the schools, and then gradually the status improved, and she also faced so many insults, but also she didn't give up her hope, and she continued her trying to improve her status. So now we can observe in every field there was a woman. So that like that only I thought the inner meaning of this poem. So now I will give a homework to you, just to write down. What are the first question? What had the doctor recommended? Doctor recommended. Doctor recommended. What was the reaction of the reaction? What was the reaction of the kids to this advice? To this advice. To this advice. So write on the second question. My dad knew his duties. My dad knew. K-N-E-W. Knew is duties. What did he think his duty was? What did he think? What did he think his duty was? And third question, third question is, write few lines about poet of this poem. The last question. Write the summary of the poem. Grandma finds it. Grandma climbs a tree. So, dear students, so this is all about the poem Grandma Climbs a Tree. I hope you all enjoyed this poem, and in our examination it has been asked about for 4 marks for to write the summary of this poem. So you better to write this and read this and learn to write the summary of this poem. Thank you.